One will say that, okay, well then I can see. The only problem is that we don't all see the same. What I'm seeing is not what everybody else is seeing. What then do we stand on? What becomes a stable ground upon which all of us can stand? From that, I come with an experience triangle. The argument advanced here is that we can only know that which can be experienced. If something cannot be experienced, we cannot know it, and we'll never know it. Therefore, it's important, that we rely on experience, but our experience must be founded on reality. In the experience triangle, we see that it is possible for one to have what one might call an experience when it in fact is an imagination. One might have that which they call an experience, which in fact is just a figment of imagination. Or is it that which you call experience really veritas, verifiable, true and real? How do we know? How do we tell? We cannot rely on wishes, preferences, and partiality, because those are things that we just would prefer out of everything else that there is. That is but a section of what is out there that we prefer and therefore wish for and are partial towards. If watching a movie, for instance, or watching a scene out of a movie, which scene is played out in your own city, you can play the movie at home and drive to that part of the city where the movie was shot, and you will find that the action taking place on the movie at home is not the same as that which is happening on the street in reality. Then a movie in this instance becomes an example of an imagination. It's very easy to capture an imagination in one's mind. I can imagine that elephants fly, because I'll take flying, which I know of, an elephant that I know of, put together and have an elephant that is flying. But this is not based on reality. If I go to the national park tomorrow and go look for flying elephants, I'll be very disappointed to establish that there aren't any. So a starting point for experience should be reality. If we start our experience from reality, then we can have imaginations, and we may even come up with very wonderful inventions. Imagination and figments are very important. If we are to teach a lesson, for instance, whatever subject it is, it may say to teach about the solar system, you don't need to get all the planets into a classroom before a teacher can give a lesson on the solar system. But the learners in class can imagine those. So when there is reality, from that we can then build imagination. I would urge you to do an exercise. Draw up a list of all that you have experienced. And having drawn up the list, go through the list and ask yourself, is this a figment? Is this an imagination, or is it real? Is it real, verifiable? It will help a great deal to relieve a lot of frustration, disappointment, if one can separate between that which is real and that which is imagined. And for experience, as we are going to go through it, in natural philosophy, is going to be experienced based on reality.